Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mae Cave. My name is Megan, and today I'm going to do a book review. So the book I'm going to review I received as an ARC copy or an advanced reading copy, and it's actually an ebook, so I don't have a physical book to show you, so I'll stick a picture up. And I received it through early reviewers of librarything.com. It's a giveaway they do every month, and through Poolbeg Press, which is the publishing company. So thank you guys for this book, and I can't wait to tell everyone about it because I love it so much. This is a historical fiction novel, and it is called The Tide Between Us by Olive Collins. The first half of the book is set in Jamaica, so it starts in the 1800s. I will want to say 1810, but they don't give an exact date. They do say his age, so the main character is Art O'Neill, and it starts when he's 11 years old, and then it goes, the first half of the book goes until, I think he's 79, 80, and it is 1891, so I want to say 1811 is when the book starts. And so it starts in Ireland, and he's 11 years old, and his father was just hanged, and his family was taken away from him, and then he is separately captured and taken to Jamaica as an indentured servant. And then the rest of his life is living in Jamaica, and it shows his life there. He is on a plantation working with the slaves, and the owner of the plantation, who comes shortly after he arrives at the plantation, actually is the man who killed his father. The man doesn't know this yet because Art lies about which part of Ireland he comes from, but he has this hatred for this man ever since the day that he set foot on the island and he realizes who this man is. And so the rest of his life he hates this man, and then the man's son next takes over the plantation, and Art also hates him. But he also works for them the whole time. This 70 years that he's living in Jamaica, he works for the guys, and he never, his anger comes out. There is one point in partway through the first half of the book when the original owner, the father who killed Art's father, so the main owner of the plantation, during his end of his life are the rebellions of the slaves. They're trying to abolish slavery, and then after that, slavery is abolished. Of course, it's earlier than in Jamaica than what happened in the U.S. And then shortly after that is when his son takes over. And then it's a back and forth between him and the owners, and between him and his family. Art has a lot of children. He has 6 sons and 3 daughters, and then they grow up and they have children, and there's some family tensions between his family and the Stratford Rices. I never said their name. The Stratford Rice family is the family of the plantation owners who killed his father. There's some family tension between those two near the end of the first half of the book, and it's really good tension. It's not what I would have expected. And then they kind of end near the end of his life, and you don't really find out what happens. There's this one scene where he's going to collect his payment for working on the plantation for 70 years, and then they cut it there before that scene actually happens. You don't really know what happens between him and this guy, that they hate each other. And then it cuts to 1991 Ireland. So we're back in Ireland, and we're following a woman named Iseult. I don't 100% know if that's how it's pronounced, but I will also stick her name up somewhere here and you can see it, so you can tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, because it's Irish and I've never heard this name before. But I'm going to say Iseult, and she is the owner of an estate called Lugdale Estate, and she's in her 70s, I believe, and on her estate they find a skeleton, and it's not super old. The skeleton is more recent, and the people that find the skeleton, it's the police and the forensics team coming, and she's really hating this. She's like, I don't want any people on my land. I want them to leave as soon as possible. I wish the skeleton would just disappear, and because she thinks it has a connection to her past and her family's past. But you don't know yet who her family is necessarily, especially in regards to Art's family and the whole story that we've had so far. But the connections slowly come up, and you find out all the connections near the end of the book, and I love the connections. They're completely different from what I was expecting, and it was so good. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what happened to this character, and then this is what that happened, and all these things connected near the end, and it was so good, and I love it. If anyone likes those kind of familial connections that kind of are all over the place, but they have these connections within the story, and it was so good. I love that. I recommend it to anyone who likes that kind of thing. And overall, it was just a really great book, and I was so engrossed in it. The first part was a little slow with, after the first the prologue and the first chapter. The prologue starts in 1991, so you kind of get a glimpse of that before you read Art's part, and then the first chapter is that turning point scene at the end of his life, and then it shows his life, and then it cuts to Iseult's life in 1991, and they both do flashbacks though. This is the one thing that bugged me about the book, is that both main characters, Isolde and Art, had flashbacks about their, their childhood and that kind of thing, which weren't in chronological order, which is okay, it's how you remember things, but there wasn't an age or a date associated with a lot of them. And since they were out of order, it was kind of hard to say, okay, well, this happened after that, or did it? So I had to go back and compare them sometimes. But otherwise, besides that, I thought it was a really great book, so I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Everywhere, no place that I've reviewed it on, like online, it has half stars, except maybe like library thing. So on Goodreads, I think I put it at 5 stars since they don't do half stars. They reviewed it on Amazon and Libib and Library Thing. Probably just link my Goodreads review down below if you want to read it. It's obviously shorter than my video. But I recommend this to anyone who loves historical fiction or reading about slavery. It was really interesting actually to read about slavery and indentured servitude in a place other than the US. Since I live in the US, it's very common to read about slavery here and not in other countries of the world. So I really enjoyed that part. I really enjoyed the mystery around near the end of the book where you're trying to figure out who Isolde is and why she's connected to the original story that we read. And it is just so good. And now I'm starting to babble about it. So anyone who loves historical fiction, I would recommend this book too. Or even if you're trying to get into historical fiction, it's really a good book. And I've said that a lot. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. And if you didn't, or if you did, or if you have any criticisms, or you want to know more about the book, just comment down below and I will get back to you. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!